Hi, I'd like to welcome you to week 4 of the St. Aidans Institute course on Anglican theology. So this week we shift our attention away from the patristics and the book by Hall on the challenges and struggles some of those writers faced, and we're now shifting to a book that's basically an anthology of essays on Anglicanism. It has a variety of perspectives, left, right, and center. Some you'll find really enjoyable, some will just make you want to tear your hair out. But it really reflects some of the cross-section of Anglican thought and interpretation today, especially as it looks back on some of the older ideas of what defined Anglicanism in different periods historically. So in the readings this week, you get a little bit on the development of the prayer book. We're not going to explore that. I'm pretty sure all of you that are taking this class are going to be taking the prayer book class that starts in January. And we will spend a lot of that class looking at the early versions, the issues related to its development, and so on. So we really don't want to try to duplicate that work here, especially given the lack of time. So the first question this week relates to the 39 Articles, which are a real sticking point in some of the discussions going on within Anglican circles today. In the Episcopal Church, they have been relegated in the prayer book to something called historical documents, and it was widely known in the 1979 publication team that whenever the next version was to happen, those were to be removed completely. The Episcopal Church wants really nothing to do with those because they don't see them as relevant or pertinent to today. So because of that, the Anglican Church in North America has kind of reflexively gone the other way and argued that these are absolutely seminal, foundational, and crucial for us. And they almost take on an air of being our systematic theology. And the problem with that is we don't have a systematic theology. Our systematics is the prayer book. It's how we worship and live is what defines our faith. But that doesn't mean that the articles are not consequential. And in their original development with Archbishop Parker, the issue was trying to set a floor, trying to set a minimum standard and set of beliefs that people should adhere to. Given the relative lack of education of clergy, given the struggles that the church faced and the absolute horrible quality of a lot of churches and the way they led worship and taught, the idea behind the 39 Articles was to set a bare minimum that everybody had to adhere to. So if you read through them and find them lacking in comprehensiveness the way Protestant systematics exist, that's a big part of the reason why. They weren't really designed to be comprehensive. They were designed to set a floor below which no one who would be considered part of the Church of England would be allowed to go. So it's really worth spending some time in. And if you are a true Anglican trooper, go find the sermons and read them. I have yet to meet anybody that has actually ever sat and read them all. It's even among the most diehard supporters of the Articles, that is something that tends to be neglected. So that's that piece. The second question we're going to deal with addresses the whole question of lex orandi, lex credendi. And that really is significant, especially if you yourself come from a Protestant background and haven't been an Anglican all that long. If you come from Protestantism, your mind is wired to think in terms of key issues, key topics, key theological frameworks. And it makes Anglicanism a little wishy-washy when you see that lack of specificity in a lot of issues. And getting an understanding of lex orandi, lex credendi becomes a very important step in really coming to embrace Anglican theology. And it's the idea that faith shapes believing, that really it's not a matter of adhering to certain views on 27 different doctrinal statements, that really Anglican theology at its core is living out how we worship. The prayer book has been called the Bible rearranged for prayer. Understanding how it's rearranged, understanding the rubrics that are in there, because the rubrics are very important theological statements, not just stage cues on where to be or what to do. They're very important. And the prayers are very important, and the wording is very important, and what is included and what is not included is very important. So understanding that praying shapes believing is to say that how we worship is really the central act of discipleship that we engage in as Anglicans, and it's something that takes a lifetime of practice to get right. Sadly, we don't do much adult ed on the prayer book and how it all works, but really it's all there. And so our second question of the week is trying to get a good grip of what this concept is and how it differs from our Protestant brothers and sisters, and why having it is important and an important definer of what it means to be Anglican. So I look forward to your posts, and we're going to have a great week together. Hopefully we'll all be more engaged now that we're reading stuff that may make a little more sense to us. All right, God bless you, and I'll see you in the classroom.